Hello, Daniel. I hope you can accept others to the
Good
meeting.
morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you today, sir?
Fine, sir. You, sir.
Yeah, good. So I hope you're admitting people into the meeting, right?
Yeah, there's no waiting room.
Oh, there's no waiting room. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning. Good morning, Mr.
Just
Paul. Is our speaker here? Is our speaker on the platform yet? Yeah, good. So I hope Daniel, is our speaker on the platform yet? No.
I'm not sure yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. So we just wait for him to join.
Okay.
All right. So we just wait, let's say another maybe 5-10 minutes and see what we have before we kick off, since we don't have our speaker here yet as well.
Just also remind them on the platform.
Yes. All right. Okay. All right, thank you. So we'll just wait another 5-10 minutes and see if we can get more people, then we can start off. All right, thank you.
Secretary, good morning.
Good morning, doctor. Good morning, Dr. Kando. How are you, sir?
I'm on over. I'm fine.
I'm very good, sir. Thank you.
What about that? Yeah, how now?
Fine, sir. How you doing, sir?
I'm cool. How is the family?
Thank God. And you, sir?
Fine. I'm still expecting what we talked about.
Okay.
I don't want to disturb you because I know the pressure you are in.
Okay, sir. No, we'll talk later, sir.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Dakwa. I think the presenter reached me just now.
Yeah.
He was able to hear us, but we couldn't hear him. So I asked him to log off and log in again.
Okay.
And add audio.
All right. Because I was just trying to send you a chat now that I saw him go out again just now.
Yes. He
So
wasn't. He was talking. We were not hearing him.
Okay. So just wait for him. Once he comes in, we can start the introduction. So
yes, and then we'll make sure he can share his slide.
His slide. Okay, that's fine.
That's it. You should try.
That's
Then I don't know if Mr. Monoba can be on the standby just in case he can't share, so that he shares from his end.
All right.
Okay, I'm here.
All right, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Paul, can you hear us now? He's in again. Hello, Mr. Paul. Hello, sir.
I'm not sure we're still able to hear him, but he's on mute. Maybe you should try and share his video first, and let's see if we can see his video. Okay. Mr. Paul, can you try and share your video and see if we can see your video? Okay. I think we're still struggling to get him.
Yeah, but it's showing that his mic and his video is on. It's not having network challenge.
Maybe it's a network issue.
Let me call him.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Paul. Can you hear us?
Oh, man. I'm surprised you're not hearing me. Hello? So, see, what I will do, I'll use my audio of my phone and then connect.
Okay, but are you hearing us?
Madam, I'm hearing you. I can hear you.
Is he speaking on the phone or on the platform? Because we can hear him. Mr. Paul, can you?
I'm hearing you.
Whether he's trying to use his audio, I get his explanation.
Yeah, but
I can hear you.
Okay. The president,
okay,
we can hear him. We can hear him, but it's not very loud, but we can hear him.
Okay. Mr. Paul, can you try and share your screen? Let's see if you can.
Okay.
Oh.
Or do we just share for him?
Yeah, maybe I'm back and share. Okay, he's sharing his screen. Let's see if it will come up now.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see his screen.
Yeah, good.
Thank you. Are we good to go?
Yes.
We can hear you
Just
now.
put it on slide mode.
I'm trying to do that. Well, no problem. It's showing some signs, but I think we can. Am I fine? Is that okay?
It's very good this way. We can't see your video, but this is fine. We can use this. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You're
Good morning,
welcome.
sir.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you. I'm sorry, is the nature of what we are getting.
It's okay, sir. Thank you very much. All right. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning. And we want to say a special thank you to our speaker for obliging us this opportunity to be on this platform and to share with us in our knowledge sharing series for this month of December, the first one for the month of December. We'd like to say thank you to everyone that has joined as well. A special thank you to the president for always being available to ensure that this series are continuously being shared amongst the members. So thank you for coming in. I want to say thank you to the ESCO as well for ensuring that we continuously have this opportunity to learn and to learn from experts around us. Today is particularly very interesting because I'm very interested in this particular discussion because it's not a very common discussion that we have on safety or in the safety family. A lot of us, we have a whole lot of discussion on safety and safety in the workplace, but safety in railway passenger train operations, I'm sure it's one of those ones that is very scarce. So we're very excited today to also have the National Executive Director here to share with us on this discussion. So everyone, you are welcome. We're going to have a great time today. We apologize for the little itch and the little delay in startup, but definitely at the end, we are sure it's going to be worth everybody's time. So thank you again for coming in. For everyone that is on this platform right now, I would like to encourage that we obey some basic rules of virtual learning. Number one, please, can we ensure that you are on mute unless you are speaking? Can we ensure that you are on mute unless you are speaking? And can we also ensure that your video is not shared unless you are speaking? All of this affect the bandwidth and the coordination of the events on the virtual platform. We also want to encourage that many of us that will have questions, please, it's possible you don't want to forget your question. The chat room is there to say hello and also to put your questions. We will take questions from the chat room once the speaker is ended. We'll prefer you putting your question on the chat room, but of course, we may give one or two chances to people to also speak in order for us to ensure that we manage our timing very well. So please, let's put our questions in the chat room as long as the presenter begins so that we can collate all of this and then use them very effectively to engage with the speaker at the end of the meeting today. So once again, thank you very much. The knowledge sharing series on the platform of ASSP Nigerian chapter has become a very important platform for us to learn. We are learning continuously here, and I think this is a season to learn as professionals because we can only do as much as we know. So we appreciate that everyone here is here, and we may also reach out to those that are not here right now to join us immediately in order for us to share more knowledge in this industry that we're looking at today, especially on the ASSP platform. Thank you very much. So I would like to introduce the president, our own president, Mrs. Mercy, that has always been there to ensure that this professional body continues to grow and continue to work stronger. Thank you so much for all the impact that you're doing. So we invite our president right now for her welcome address on this platform before we move into the technical session. You are welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our administrator for Young Emerging Professionals, Mr. Dapo Amolade. I am so grateful. Thank you. You have started the coordination for December, and this is our very first section for December. On that note, I welcome everyone to our December section of the knowledge sharing series. I want to thank specially our presenter, Mr. Paul Ndibe. I'm so sorry if I couldn't pronounce it well. The acting director, executive director for Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. I want to thank you very much for volunteering. I want to thank as many that had been able to log in for this section. We have few faces that have been consistent in our knowledge sharing series. So we want to thank you. and we urge you to keep helping us broadcast. That's the essence, just as the coordinator has said, it's for us to learn as professionals continuously on various areas and also to improve on the strength of our knowledge. Let's give opportunity. It will also help them in their professional growth. So I thank you all once more, and I welcome you to December section. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that welcome address.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So at this junction, I would like to invite our Secretary, Omono Badane, to introduce and read the profile of Mr. Paul Ndibe, the Acting National Executive Director for the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, who will be speaking to us today on the elements of safety practices in railway passenger train operations. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, our coordinator, for this opportunity. Mr. Paul O. Ndibe is fellow Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transportation. Is a railway operation expert with over 35 years of train operation and management experience. He was a former railway district manager, Eastern and Lagos District. He was a former assistant director of operations of the railway, a position he occupied as at 2014 when he retired from the service of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. He is currently the acting national executive director of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. There are several articles of interest for operators and practitioners in the industry, covering trade services, maritime, railways, and the aviation sector. He's a fellow of the Institute. That's a short profile of our speaker for today. So I use this opportunity to welcome him to the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So let's have our presenter, Mr. Paul. You can start now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. This morning, trying to connect from wherever points we are trying to connect.
So we need you to put the audio close to you, so we can't hear you very well.
Well, is it better now?
A little better. If you can do it better, better. If we can increase the volume a little bit from your end.
Okay. Don't know why.
We're hearing you, it's just that it's very faint.
Okay, so let us not waste more time. I'm using my laptop for this, except I can use my phone for purposes of the audio, but that might be interference. If it's manageable, let me go. Is it, how manageable is it? Hello?
Fair a bit. It's fair now.
We can't, yeah, but it's fair, but it's not strong. So I don't know, is it possible for him to use his phone to speak and then mute your computer mic to go through the lecture? Because your system is not giving us good audio, sir.
A minute or two. Okay, so while I'm doing that, how long is this section, please, so I can time myself more appropriately?
Your presentation is supposed to be 40 minutes. It's supposed to be a 1 hour section from when we start. So we had the 17 minutes delay. So when you start, you have 40 minutes, sir. Coordinator, sir, I'm thinking, do we let Mr. Monoba share, let him log in with his phone and teach through it?
Okay, maybe that could help. So you still need to exit his screen.
Mm.
That could help.
Is it okay now?
Oh, very well.
Yes, very
All right.
well. Very well.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much. Yeah, on the aspect of elements of safety practices in railway passenger train operations. Safety practices of two sides, one on the passenger side and the other on the railway operators. So we'll be looking at it from the perspective of passenger train services. And I'll try to be as detailed as possible while being mindful of the time, so that those who are not too conversant with the railway operations might be able to catch up. So I'm just I'll be a little bit fast, but I can be stopped at any point, or questions can be taken down, and I'll take the questions as we progress. I'm just giving 4 phases of evolution in train railway operations. The one on the extreme left is like the steam engine. When the technology then was coal, it gradually moved on to diesel. So currently having diesel electric, the one on the right. And then that is diesel electric. There is also the the electric engine, the one on the left, lower level. And of course, the high-speed train, the one on the right. So these are the phases of evolution in railway development. And this evolution, of course, they come along with technology. If not for technology, there won't be this massive improvement from 40 kilometers per hour to 362 up to close to 480 as we have in France and in Germany. Yes, in train operations, for purposes of passenger carriages, that is vehicles that carry passengers. We look at and then goods, they are all vehicles on the train. But for passengers, we call them coaches. The ones that carry goods, we call them wagons. So on the first line, you can see the passenger coaches. They have human elements in front of them. And the one on the right, one of the signature pictures where railway has while launching the Abuja-Kaduna train. You can see our president there giving his address. Then on the lower level, you find the tank wagons for carrying of vegetable oil, all manner of petroleum products. And of course, the one on the right, depicting the low bed wagons for carrying containers. So we can move on to the inside of the coaches. These are on the left, passenger sections where people sit. At times they have the second class and then the first class. While on the right is the sleeper coaches where passengers on a very long trip can now relax and sleep while the train is moving. Then these are the sections of the trains having human beings in them. Then look at this. I think this may not surprise some of us, particularly in Lagos. These passengers on top of these coaches, particularly during peak period. But the issue is hanging on these coaches. It's a death trap. This on the gangway on roof of the bus, they are not passenger compartment areas. So any passenger or anybody that is outside of the passenger compartment area is running a risk because safety can be compromised.
danger, of course, will result. If on this, and you are passing through where you have flyovers, and the clearance from the roof of the coaches to the lower part of the crossovers, that's the expressways and all that, this can really create some issues in terms of safety. So why I'm bringing this up is for people to know that for whatever it is, if you are sitting or standing or doing anything outside passenger compartment area, you are running a risk. And railway abhors issues like this. But of course, the population might outweigh whatever the corporation or the organization might do in order to stem, these things like this. But on the other side, you look at this as showing the demand level for this level of service. So if this is our usual occurrence around Lagos area, it simply shows that there is need to increase what? The rolling stock in order to satisfy the demand, transport demand for these people, because they have a need and they have to travel. And that's why they are running this risk in order to move from one point to the other. So on the part of government should look at this as a call for government to increase the carrying capacity, operating capacity of the corporation in order to provide this service. Next. Over the years, like we in the last 3 slides, this is for facility for safe boarding of trains. Why do I have to choose this? For a vehicle, you can just, because of the design of the vehicle and design of the road, you can simply from the ground step onto your car and move. On the plane, because of the height and design of the plane, you need something like a step ladder in order to get onto the floor of the train to enter. I mean plane. But in terms of the railway, you require platform. So this area I am highlighting shows the platform. On this train on the left, the platform is on the right of that train, on our own right hand. That is the left side of the train. You can see because you have a track section here. So all the doors along these parts will not be open for passenger to enter. But on this side, on the left side of the train, but on our own right side, that is the platform area. That levels or provides an easy access onto the train. Similarly, if a train is standing on this other end, of course, it provides this platform to enable passengers to entrain. If you look at the one on the right, this train is our typical train in Lagos here. It is they call it the DMUs, dual multiple unit of the train. You can see the raised platform, so people can easily access the train. So in locations where you don't have a raised platform, it poses risk. And that is why in major stations where they anticipate high volume of passengers, they usually provide platforms for easy access of passengers, intending passengers to enter the train. And in some of these stations, they have to create a barrier in order to, prevent those who are not intending passengers to come onto the platform by having a platform ticket that will allow them to get onto the platform, but not to get onto the train. On the lower level, you can see people standing in between the coaches. It is just an indication of a travel need that has not been met. This is risky because the train are in coaches and there are spring loaders in between. So as they come together and they snatch and draw, people might get wounded. And this is often a death trap. So for those of us who are listening to this, it's important that you know that it is a risky affair to be in this gangway as these people are standing there. Now, let's look at the traction or pulls that defines the train. Often, our railway services here are usually defined as low, time losing, and all manner of descriptions. They are all dependent on the speed. And the speed is what? Dependent on the technology of the train and on the track design. I might not bore you with all these terms, but it's important to know that for each of those trains in the evolution of the train design that you saw, the coal and steam engine traction. Why is it coal and steam? Because it is this, the coal will generate the heat that will transform into steam that will be able to energize or provide the traction, the speed the train will ultimately use. The diesel compression provides the heat for the traction. The diesel electric also provides that, and the electric traction provides a very high speed traction, and that is why electric engines, particularly on the train, they have capability to do very high speeds. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying here is, in terms of the traction and pull of a train, that defines the speed. So in our environment, if we are using diesel electric, we will not anticipate that our trains will do speeds beyond a particular limit. Let us say 75 kilometers per hour. One, because of the coaches and because of our track design, and then of course, because of the engine design or the engine traction we have chosen for our trains. This is important because majority of people, say we cannot use train because it's sluggish and all that. The reasons are why I'm saying so, but there is also a good sense in the choice of the speed, because if you don't have disciplined society, particularly when your trains are not well, your railway lines are not well protected, and you do a very high speed, you are likely to, knock down a lot of people, and then of course safety issues will come up. For some of us may see some of these signs, but may not be able to interpret them well. One major source of accident on train happen on our level crossings. Usually under 50 to 80 meters, at times 100 meters to railway crossing, you find, to railway line, you find designs like this. On the right of your approach to a railway line, you find railway crossing, give way. They are warning you of the road crossing over a railway line. And the implication is that beyond that point, beyond the point where this post is installed, the onus is on you to be careful and give the railway a through passage. If any accident occurs on the railway track, the liability is what? On the road user, because the train has a fixed track, is a fixed route, and it cannot move away from that fixed route. That is why it is difficult for the train to actually avoid accidents on the level crossing, because it has a true right of way. And these railway crossings and signs have been designed to warn those who are coming over the railway track to be careful and accept responsibility for doing that, because the railway has the authority over the track. These are signs you might see. The one on the lower part is depicting an engine, showing you that you are crossing a path where an engine like this has full authority. And then the one on the upright is showing you, even by the design, it shows the railway track, the one that is jointed, and then the road breaking off, allowing the railway line to have a true run. That is also has a legal implication. So for purposes of safety, it's important that we note this, and then, as we drive along the road, we try and obey these signs. Let me also raise an issue on these level crossings. In so many locations, you may find, stop and look and all that. The RR there is railway, is also another way to depict absolute right the railway has over the road. On the right, you can see a vehicle crossing the railway line, and you can see all manner of signals depicting consigns or awareness, for road users, so that they can respect the right of way of the railways. Next. Some of these signals you might find and may not be able to interpret them well, particularly if they are on the approach to railway line. Normally, they will be on the right of the approach to the railway track. They are to warn you about, whether to, whether to, I mean, for the railway train engine to is like a warning signs for them. And people who are conversant with the railways can interpret some of these signals. They depict various things for train control, and they are usually on the right of the approach to a railway line. So the implication is that these signals, the one on the right, is at a horizontal level. When it drops at an angle of 45, it means that a train has been signaled to proceed, to move forward. And if it's on this horizontal level, it means it simply shows a stop sign, a stop signal. So while you interact around the railway environment and you see signals like this, they may not refer to individual but the train, but they may also have implications for those around the environment. So that even if you are, for any reason you are crossing the track and you see the signal at a 45%, I mean 45 degrees, please avoid the railway track. We are looking at safety and then on the railways. Look at a scene like this. This is a typical Nigerian environment in Lagos. These engines are here in Lagos, and locations like this you find at Oshodi, you find at Mushin, and also you find at Port Harcourt area. There are market situations on the track. Now look at this environment. On what speed do you think a train can possibly do under this environment? But it's a typical Nigerian situation. Trading on the track is abhorred because the risk level is high. A train may lose control and may not be able to stop at an appropriate place. And then you can imagine, some people may put their wares right there on the track and the train coming at a regulated speed. Before they will take their time to move their wares out of the track. And a lot of issues, safety concerns will arise. So this is a typical Nigerian situation, and this should not happen because safety will be compromised. Let's look at activities infringing safety. We've shown a lot of pictures, but let's take this one after the other. Walking on the track. People choose to walk on the railway track, particularly if it will give them some advantage in terms of the distance they will walk to a particular destination. In your best interest, do not walk on top of the track. You can walk on the sidelines, but not, on the side roads, but not on the track. Some people wear earpiece, telephone earpiece, while walking near a moving train. If the train sounds its horn, that individual may not hear, and that has resulted in series of accidents. Trading on the track, as we saw earlier, is a risk. Stabling parcels or cars on the track in locations around Lagos and in other built-up areas, people feel that the railway is not there, and they begin to stock or put their things on top of the track. Infringing the right of way of the train is a risk. Walking pets on the track is also a risk. Leaving waste on the track compromises the safety of the train, because if it's a passenger train, it can result into an accident, and safety issue will now come up. Removing ballast stones from the track. I can give an example. Around Umahia, I've forgotten the year, people were removing ballast stones from the track to do culvert in some areas. Stealing from railway materials that are supposed to give safety to the train to begin to do private things using materials they remove from the track. I'm saying it publicly because it happened and it was well documented with the police. Tampering with track materials or stable trains. You may see some coaches stabled on the track, and people go to pilfer either the electrical wirings or the plumbing fittings, or even the seats on the train, or even the fans. People do this a lot, and when they do that, they may leave out the wires. And when the generator on the train to provide light is put on, it can result into the wire touching and fire and all manner of issues on train. These things are safety concerns that we should all know. Now, erosion, landslides, and washout, just like it happens on the road, just because the track, railway track is also a road bed, but for trains. Erosion, landslide, and washout, when it rains heavily and the soil is eroded, it affects also the integrity of the track. And if measures are not taken and the train, runs over it, of course, it results to accidents, and that's a safety issue. Drawing the automatic stop chain in passenger train. And let me say this, every coach on train is equipped with automatic stop chain. If emergency arises, any passenger can draw the chain and they signal the driver and the train will stop, automatic. However, if once it stops, there must be an investigation right there at the spot. If there is no good reason for drawing the chain, it's on the bylaws of the railways. The culprit, whoever that pulls that chain, pays a fine. For one, delaying the train and then making the train to lose time and connection at its next stopping station. So it is important that we know of this provision for safety reasons and of course the implication when it is applied without good reason. Let's give some example. Look at people walking on the track. This is a risk, it should be avoided. Look at a car parked on the track. A tree falling across the track, in a cutting, part of the soil falling over due to erosion or other causes or earthquake. And look at animals crossing the track. These are safety. If a passenger train is coming and behold, runs into a vehicle like this, you know what it will result to. Or animals like this, or a train may not even pass on account of this. It can derail the train, and that's a safety issue. Or run into this train and damages some aspect of it. If the passenger train, maybe the driver or the passengers on train might be wounded. And if a driver, if he's not too careful with himself, he might try to pull the automatic brake of the train, and that can result into multiple capsizing of the coaches on train. So these are issues that we should be careful with and avoid. These are people walking their pets on the track. It is a regular thing, and we should avoid them. Now, let's look at the ballast stone I mentioned. These are various, designs and shapes of ballast stone. People remove this one on the lower level to go and make slabs and all manner of things. Some people still leaving the iron fittings on the track, remove them to sell as metals, iron, and then when they do that, they compromise the integrity of the track. We are looking at safety. So both safety on the part of the passengers and safety of running of the railway trains. So these are issues that we should note and avoid. Now, factors that limit train speeds. I said earlier, one dissatisfaction we have about our trains in Nigeria is the fact that it is slow. It doesn't run at a high speed. It's important that we look at issues like that and be able to tolerate, accommodate why it is so until the environment improves. The design of the train engine, designed train engine speeds, like we did earlier, showing the one for the steam, the diesel electric, and of course the electric trains. They all come with various improvements on their speeds. Now, one of the reasons why trains run a little bit slow is because of the design of the points and crossings. Just like we have on our roads, the roundabout and the size line and others, trains can move from one line to the other, particularly at stations. And how do they do that? They do that with the aid of points and crossings. Points and crossings. I'm raising this point because it is a major source of train accidents. If the point is wrongly set for a train will derail at that point because the point is set against it. So, and let me not go into the technical aspect, but the points and crossings are one sore spot for accidents on trains. Those who run trains know about this more. So let me not bother our audience with this since it's more of a technical thing. But then it is an area of concern both for railway operators and then of course for our passengers. Gaping points or setting of wrong points, they are all sore points that where trains accident occur more frequently. Check rail and crossings, wheel flange parts, train load and hauling power, station limit and philosophy of block station. These are elements in train operations that has to do with safety. I carefully selected them, and I will just make one or two comments just to enable us understand, why I had to choose, to mention these ones here. You see, between one station and the other is a distance. And a train cannot be allowed to leave station A for station B without the authority or consent of station B. In that regard, that consent means the two stations must be an agreement that this train will leave point A for point B, and that it is only this train that will be in that section at a particular point in time. That philosophy behind that is called a block station. Now, for any reason, it is designed that it must work that way. For any reason, for human error and forgetfulness and all that, and you did not recollect that a train is in section, and you authorize even a pump trolley or anything that cannot be easily be moved away from the track to be in that section, you are compromising the safety of both the train and the passenger or whatever that is in that train. That's why I'm bringing it up. So the philosophy of block station is to ensure safety on train, and when it is compromised, accidents occur. Now, and the concept of block station is what the railway calls authority to proceed. Any valid train leaving point A for point B must be in possession of what is called authority to proceed. It might come in various forms, but that authority must be provided. Without that authority or other similar versions of permit to enter a train, no mobile unit that cannot be easily be moved away from the track be authorized to enter a particular section that is already occupied. Otherwise, accident will occur. Look at this track. Incidentally, I don't know how to highlight, but you can look at where these lines merge. They are where we define as points. Whatever I do here, I might not be able to see because it's not embedded in the design. But if you carefully look at these points, where they interconnect are either the facing point or the trailing point. And these are what I refer as points and crossings. The adjoining sections of the track that are in between are to lay support. Those ones are crossings. But where they connect from one to the other, they're either facing point or trailing point. And that is where I said most of the train accidents occur. And it is important that it is raised at this discussion. You can see this is the common site in any station. And it's important that the points and crossings are wide, are played here. It is only with the points and crossings that a train can move from one line to the other successfully. When the mechanism to do that is not followed, that is when train accident can result. And they do occur more frequently around the points and crossings. Issues in train safe operations. We talked about speed. If, like the one we saw in Oshodi, if a train is beyond a particular speed, it might result into accident, depending on the design of the track. Crossings, points, check rails. The brake system on train is called the vacuum brake system. That's the one we use in Nigeria. But in other countries, more advanced countries, use the air brake system, courtesy of improvements in technology. And this air brake system go along with improvements in the train engines they use and the technology they have adopted. We are yet to improve our technology to that level, and that's why we are still using the vacuum brake system. It's important that we know, for purposes of knowing, that the brake system on train is on the principles of vacuum brake system, not air, because the entire brake pipe on the train from the beginning to the end all the entire air had to be eliminated in order for the train to move. It's when you allow air inside that the brake has a problem, as opposed to having air, and when you expel air, you now have the trains to slow down. Now, some people may wonder, how are trains connected? They are connected between coaches. You have a train set, have 7 coaches or wagons. How they are connected is through the mechanism of automatic buffer couplers. That's the one we currently use. But the one in more advanced countries is the flexible coupler, and that one is matched with the air brake system, matched with more advanced engine design. So we are still on the lower level, and that's why we're still using the automatic brake system, the diesel electric, and then the automatic buffer couplers. We have the siding lines, and the trains are allowed what we call adequate distance. That is the braking distance within a station, usually 320 meters. And it is expected that within 320 meters, a train will, no matter the speed on our railway system, a train should be able to bring itself to a halt. That is an adequate distance. It is a safety guard, a safety design, and because it's safety, that's why I'm raising it here. Station limits are must come within these 320 meters, station limit. And that is where the train will be at a lower speed, and for passenger interaction, goods interaction will take place. Now we have inside of passenger compartments. For some of our coaches, they may have various sitting arrangements. Even if we are walking along the gangway, you might be able to hold your hands, in order to have a stable movement. That's why you have these hand holders projecting. And if you are standing, at least you make use of the hook up there in order to have a stable position while riding on the train. The essence is that when a train brakes, the brake is applied from the engine, and it is transmitted through the air or vacuum system along the coaches. So you may have some undulating movement on train, and it's for that reason that you have this. And then the stability of the track in terms of the ballast. When the balance is not even on the track, you also experience undulating movement on train. It's important that we note about this, and so our people on train might make use of them. Now let's look at the importance of crossings in train. This is more of the railway system workers, but then it's important that we have an idea of the technology of the trains. Where a train is moving from one line to the other, that's what I meant by cross. You can see more clearly the design here, and it's to just guide us and also guide the railway workers. It is important that the flange ways are clear, because if the flange way is obstructed, the flange may step on that obstruction, mount on the railhead, and then cause a derailment, an accident. I'm bringing it up here so that both our audience and those who have an experience on the railway might know this and be careful with that. Some people who play around the track, who walk around the track, put a lot of stuff on the train. That's what we call a flange, usually on the wheel of a train. As we progress, you will see it. If it mounts on a hard subject, on a hard object, it might push it up, that the flange will mount on the rail head, and as the train is moving, it drops outside of its location, and then you have a train derail. And if it drags for a period through a curve, the train might eventually capsize and result into very serious accidents. On the left, rather on the right, that's where you have the rail head and then the wheel of the train. The one protruding down a bit, as shown here, is the flange. So if there's a hard object, particularly along the level crossings or the crossings, and this flange mounts on it, it pushes it up. And if there's a undulating movement of the train can, force it to mount on the head of the rail, and as it moves along, it drops. And the train, once it's outside the rail head, that is a derailment and is an accident. If it's on a curve and the draw or pull is heavy, the coach or coaches may capsize. So similarly, this is the rail head, this is the wheel, The one protruding down is the flange. As a matter of fact, it is this flange that guides the train on the path to go, because there is no steering inside the train, not in the engine, not in the coaches, no steering for you to turn. It is the steering is found on this flange, and it is by the tip of the rail that guides this flange on the path to go. So anything that happens, look at the lower level, anything that happens on this particular rail head or facing point creates an accident. Now, just look at the lower level, on the left, the lower picture. On the left, you can see a gap, the opening. And on the right, you see there's no gap. So the tip of this rail head on the left, if it pushes a little bit to the left to close the gap there, it opens the gap on the right. So a train coming from facing this direction will just go to the right. If you look beyond, you'll see it goes to the right. But as it is now, it's going to the left because this point on the left has closed. So the flange will literally go along the contour and now go to your left. This is the principles of changing from one track to the other. It can only be achieved through the flange. It's important that we know so that we have an idea of the technology in train operations. This is a regular situation in our train. Some people feel that inside the train is too crowded, stuffy, and all that, and they hang on the door. This is a risk. Passengers should, as much as possible, discourage themselves from hanging on the doors. Any slight undulating movement can, you can be off guard, and the next thing you fall, and that's an accident. Now, later designs of train, look at the one on the left. The doors must be shut at all times in order to reduce the temptation of people hanging on the doors. So all modern designs of trains, the doors are automatic doors. If they are not closed, the train will not move. So also the one on the lower left. I'm bringing this up because there are safety issues, and because technology and the good work of the Safety Society and designs are now bringing this to fore that all train designs must have automatic doors, and the doors must be shut before the train leaves in order to reduce incidents of occasions of accidents. Yeah, we've talked about platform, but I brought this picture in order to enable us to see it more clearly. You can see it is raised, and that is to enable you have an easier access to the train. Look at the one down. That is the essence of the platform. The train is on the lower level. The platform is raised to enable you just literally have the same level to enter the train. This concerns railway operators, but then passengers may, if they note this, it might help them. The one on the right is, you can find this in the railway in Lagos. And these other ones are in other locations, but they are typical Nigerian situations. Now, train ticketing system. People wonder, to enter a train, how difficult is it? How easy it is? What will you necessarily do? They use what they call card ticket to enter the train. Of course, there are others that use paper tickets. They also, the concession tickets, they have seasonal tickets, they have privilege ticket orders, and then they have excursion tickets. And the era of electronic ticketing is what railway is about getting into. In all the above, they are all in existence. And the electronic ticketing system, because of the advance in technology, is what the railway is currently embarking upon. These are the new improvement the federal government is trying to do with our train services. This is faces of the new gauge and trains. This is Nigeria. The standard gauge that federal government is doing currently, you can see it on the left, between Lagos and Ibadan. This is what you see. This was taken from a section near Babalanto. This is already in Nigeria, the standard gauge. This train station, you find this already in existence, and train will begin full swing just by middle of December or early January. This train is in Nigeria already. This is the inside of the train. So we look forward to seeing this. And I'm encouraging all of us to take out time, just on excursion, have an experience. This is in Nigeria as we speak. This is in Nigeria already as we speak. So good things are coming out from our Nigeria, and thanks be to God. And of course, in my conclusion, I will look at economy in cost, environmental friendly, that is about railway. Railway operation has a very low cost of, not operation, but well, on the part of the passengers, yes, because of the volume of passengers it will carry. If their fixed cost is attained, of course, they can distribute this cost among the huge volume of passengers they can carry, and that is why traveling by rail is cheap. Economy in cost. Then is environmental friendly, because if you look at carrying how many passengers at a go, maybe 1,002. You can imagine how many vehicles that can pick up that number and the volume of emissions that they will leave on the environment. So going by rail, particularly if it is electric or diesel electric, you know, is environmental friendly. And then of course, most countries move towards this. On the train, there are large bulk movers, and that is why the Minister of Transportation is doing all it can to ensure that the connection between Apapa and the Bute Metta is done so that they can help with moving of cargo from the port to Ibadan, the dry port from where the distribution can take place, instead of having all the trucks come to Lagos and create additional congestions. The rail service or railway train is deputed with high safety standards. Because of those things we mentioned, they are deputed with high safety standards. Because moving 1,020 people at a time, if that volume is moved on the road for a period of 3 hours, only God knows how many of the vehicles carrying them will involve in one accident or the other. But these people can be moved successfully on the train without a single accident. So high safety standard. I'm just highlighting, you know, the economy in rail services. And because it has the fixed track system, it has the right of way. There are occasions of few obstructions on the track, except where we have explained earlier, falling tree, landslides, animal on the track, human beings on the track, congestions on the track, people walking past on the track. These things contribute to, you know, issues on the track. If they are not there, the fixed track system gives railway an edge. And of course, railway has the ability to move day and night without stopping from here to Maiduguri or Kano. And that gives an additional advantage. So let me stop so far so that I'll be able to take questions within the time allowed. Thank you so much.
Coordinator, we can't hear you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. I said, so thank you so much, Mr. Paul. I said, personally, I'm a complete novice when it comes to train or rail transportation and the safety implications of this. I really want to say thank you for this beautiful, beautiful presentation. I think anybody that missed this today has actually missed something that is very significant for safety people. It's not every day we get this kind of presentation in the safety industry. So thank you once again for your in-depth analysis and how you have been able to really connect this to the safety of every one of us there who are going to be the passengers when we get into the train system. There are many things I've seen in train, but I just don't understand why. So in 40 minutes, I can see that there's a whole lot connected to the safety of passengers in train system. So thank you once again for this very beautiful presentation. I don't know if we have questions that some have put down here on the chat room, or anyone that have 1 or 2 questions or comments or feedback for Mr. Paul. We need to signify quickly so that we can call you to make your comments or ask your question within the time that we have. Thank you. Any question, comment, or feedback?
Yes, sir. Let me say something.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. I think 2012, I was at Jibo, just under the bridge, where you have the train line. And while we were just waiting, suddenly we heard the train horn sounding, and there was somebody on the track. I think the person was like an insane person with his hands on his head. All efforts to get him out of the track proved abortive, and unfortunately, he was his two legs were crushed by the train. That was like a real and ugly sight for me. But I now begin to wonder, is it not possible for that train to have come to a halt, to have avoided that kind of situation from happening? But with this training, I think I'm able to understand why it's not automatic to say the train must have an adequate stopping distance before it can achieve that complete halt. But I think there is need for, I don't know whether it's possible to also have like a train line officers who in the course of the train traveling from one place to the other, there should be a check on the line to, as much as possible, reduce any possible accident on the train line. So, Mr. Paul, I don't know, is that a possibility to have like a train line officers or safety officers to check some of the issues or safety concerns that might be on the road that might result to accident, for it to be corrected before the train gets to the point?
Yeah, thank you so much. You see, like most people say, safety, security is the business of everyone. But let me just take the first issue, then I'll come to this. The first issue is on the incident we had on the track where somebody was hit by the train and the legs were affected. It's a usual occurrence on train because of the lack of frequency of train movements on the track. People tend to, infringe on the track. However, it's not possible depending on the speed of the train and the angle of sight of the object on the train, it might not be possible for the train to the driver of the train engine to bring the train to a halt. The reason is this: if it's a single engine that is going, the automatic brake system can be applied and it can just stop like a vehicle. But if more than the train engine is moving on the track where you have coaches attached, any brake you will apply would have to transfer to all the coaches to expel all the air along the brake pipe in order to bring the train to a stop. So it is the efficiency of both the brake drums and the hose pipes and the connectors and the cylinders to effectively do this will depend on the efficiency of the brake and also depending on when the brake is applied. The driver might be just like in a car, you are looking, the moment you take your eyes away from a particular route, you see an emergency. So also is the train. The driver has to see everything and be able to determine when to apply brake, being mindful of what it is carrying. Because if applied automatic brake, the critical thing is that you destroy the vacuum. What I mean by destroying the vacuum is expelling all the air automatically from the brake pipe. And that is for the one on the engine. The implication is that the other coaches are still moving on that speed. And the fact is that they will start bunching up on one another. And when they start bunching up on one another, one of the ways might, because they have springs, might mount on the rail head, derail, and then the train may capsize. So there's always more risk of causing a greater accident while you apply the automatic air brake system than when you let go and take the lesser option of maybe taking out a life and preserving the life of so many on the train. It's a difficult decision to take, but instead of trying to avoid one life and you endanger 50 or 200, most times you find yourself, taking this hard decision in order to preserve the life of those on the train. Not just because if the train derails and capsizes, the structures of human beings on the side of the track that are just on their own may be affected. So this comes into the contemplation of the driver in taking this decision. Now, in terms of line inspectors, we have the civil engineering department and they have their staff in terms of beats along the track. And they have period of inspections, foot inspections on the track, particularly during rainy season. That's why they have the wet season patrol, where they patrol the track, particularly at night when it might rain and an oncoming train might not be able to, the driver on the train might not be able to detect. So this civil engineering staff, they call them gangers. And so they go on track on foot and detect where there are issues. If the one they can address, they address. The one they cannot address, they radio to the next station and the train is halted. And then an engineering team is sent to fix the obstruction on the track. So it's a common practice in the railways. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. And thank you for that question. We had a similar incident in Lagos State, Ikeja, I think last year, where a copper was trailing on the rail, and was killed by the train. I was one of those people that was speaking where I was, and I heard the story that why can't the train stop when it saw somebody from a distance? And I kept telling myself, why can't the train stop? Why can't the train stop? But now it's very clear that they can't stop. So this was it's been very important for us to have listened to this presentation from you. Thank you so much. Victor would like to go on the train very shortly, according to your advice, but wanted to find out if there are extinguishers in our trains.
Yeah.
Mr. Paul. Yeah,
they have a fire extinguisher, but they are not in locations where the passenger can easily see them because they are secured in certain locations that the train staff might know. Otherwise, people steal these things as they enter the train and go. As a matter of fact, it's a standard requirement that fire extinguishers are put on train.
All right, so thank you very much. Thank you. I wanted to find out from you as well. I've been asked this question before. I've gone in many trains, not in Nigeria here, but I've not seen seatbelt in trains. Why don't they have seatbelt in most trains? I've seen some that have the seatbelt, but in majority, I've not seen seatbelt. Is it not part of the passenger protective
safety?
Yes, in the train.
Yeah. Like I said, as we move with technology, these things come into play. If a train is moving at 40 kilometers per hour.
Sir?
I said, if a train is moving at 40 kilometers per hour. Okay, let me start afresh. I'm saying that some of these improvements come with technology and the speed of the train. They go hand in hand. As we are trying to improve the technology on the train, these things will now come in the design of the coaches that will match these improved engine designs. Currently, we are using the diesel electric, and the tolerable speed will be under 60, 80 maximum. But the design of our coaches, not all of them, they don't have, except the ones we are importing for purposes of the standard gauge. But on the narrow gauge, the coaches for the narrow gauge do not have seat belts because of the design. And at the time, seat belts were prescribed to be on the coaches. Some of these coaches were designed in the 60s. And as at that time, the technology has not gone to the point of seat belts. But the recent coaches they are importing for purposes of the higher speeds the trains are expected to run, especially on the standard gauge, they are being fitted with seat belts. And it's also for Nigeria, while they are importing, to list it are one of the requirements in the coaches. If it's not listed, it will not be provided because they supply on demand.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
But,
Thank you so much.
But
Okay.
outside of that is a good requirement that they should have them. So the important thing is for the railway authorities to include them as a provision when they are ordering for these coaches.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir. James Gig, you have your hands raised. Do you want to ask a question, please?
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good
And
morning.
I want to thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for your contribution to the ASSP. We appreciate the points made, and about the innovation that is soon going to be commissioned. As you earlier said, it's a welcoming innovation. But I'm just concerned about if we have anything like a railway safety standard or board, a standard board that regulates the safety concerns in connection with operating the railway and the trains that are soon going to be commissioned. And this is to ensure the software, hardware, and all components used in the railway to ensure that they are well interactive in a safe and robust way. So I just want to ask, do we have such board setup? And for the office you have shared so far for the past 35 years, I also feel that you, in one way or the other, your contribution to the safety of using the railway and train can be welcomed by the government as well. So can you suggest that to them if there are no board set up that could also open doors for safety professionals to come into such establishments? So that's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. There are two things. It's important that we know this. The railway in Nigeria started in 1890. Railway is over 100 years. They celebrated 100-year centenary a few years ago. And over the period, I'm not saying it's a huru, no. Over the period, there have been safety measures, safety standard, regulations that they must meet before a train, departs. And that's why I highlighted some of the areas where we normally have the sub points on the railway, particularly on the track. Now, as we speak, I'm aware that the railway has a corporate affairs department headed by a director and has a deputy director, health, safety, and environment. So railway has a deputy director, health, safety, and environment, and is charged with the responsibility to ensure as much as possible that safety precautions are taken in the operation of the railway system. And it might not be necessary for me to name the name of the official, but we have a deputy director, health, safety, and environment. And he has a litany of staff that serve under him in his directorate, and they are into all of this. Even while there are huge constructions taking place in railways, there is still the HSC representative there that will look into the coordination of the work there in order to ensure maximum safety of the staff. So I can tell you this is already taking place in the railways.
So very much, Mr. Paul. Thank you so very much. I don't know if there's any question. The time is well spent. So if there are any other questions from anybody? Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. Yes.
Just in case, I can be reached at paul.ndibe@ciltnigeria.org. paul.ndibe@ciltnigeria.org. Lowercase.
Right,
just in case.
All right. Thank you so very much, sir. So we still want you to stay just for a few minutes before we round up the event. Thank you so much. I think it's been a great time, great morning spent this morning with this knowledge from Mr. Ndibe. So I don't know if you can by any chance give an applaud, say thank you on the chat room, do some emoticons if it's possible. just to say thank you to Mr. Paul. I think he's done a great job for us this morning with this very enlightening session for many of us who are novices in this area. So thank you once again, sir. Before we go, I would like to, at this junction, invite our secretary to present a certificate to Mr. Paul for a good job well done this morning. So Daniel, over to you.
Okay, Mr. Paul, thank you very much. I'm well enriched now in understanding the safety measures in place in terms of railway. Particularly now, I have a lot of interest in it. Like there was a time I went to Abuja. I was free in a day. I just, okay, what do I do? Let me go to Kaduna and come back that same day just to experience what is happening. That's just to show you the level of interest that arose when the train system was coming on board. That being said, we want to appreciate you and to present this certificate of recognition to you, Mr. Paul Ndibe, for volunteering in the SSP Nigeria chapter as a speaker on elements of safety practices in railway passenger train operations during the knowledge sharing series 14 of December 5th, 2020. We appreciate that, and we're going to send this across to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I least expected this. And nonetheless, I'm grateful.
Welcome.
All right. Thank you so much.
We wish we can give you more than this for this great presentation.
No.
We're going to come back to you. We're going to come back to you again and again for this, because I think we have a whole lot to learn and to make this a campaign and awareness, especially now that passenger train is becoming a new reintroduction into Nigerian system at a very good technology. So I think we need so much awareness and campaign. And so definitely from this platform, we will be coming back to you, and we're sure you will oblige us when we come back next time. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. All right. All the best.
So
my regards to Mrs. Irefo.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, she's
I join my voice to the coordinator and everyone in the house to thank you, especially for this educative presentation. Like the coordinator said, we would definitely get back to you, and we hope you cooperate with us and collaborate with the SSP to bring this awareness more to the public. We are grateful, sir.
No problem. Thank you. It's my pleasure. All right.
All right.
See you
very
next
much,
time.
man. So
all right.
All right. So, all right, sir. So we'd like to announce our next, our next session for the month of December will be coming up next.
Can I leave at this point? All right. Thank you.
You can, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. So we'd like to announce our next session for next week, December the 12th at the same time. And this is an interesting one that is going to be hosted by the YEP, the Young Emerging Professionals. And also on the 19th of December, we'll be having the last session for the year. So we're all encouraged to be part of this session and, invite people. Like I was just hearing what I just heard and I was like, oh my God, this is a presentation that we should have hundreds of people attending, because the knowledge shared in this just short time is really very amazing. So let's take time out to invite others on our different platforms, on the ASP platform as well, especially to join us next week, Saturday, as we also continue on this program. Thank you very much. So I don't know, Secretary, is there any other announcement? And the President, is there any other announcement before we close this session for today?
None. We are going to share on the platform the next.
Any other announcement?
None for now.
All right. Mr. President, any other announcement from you?
No, sir. Thank you. So hope to see you on next section next week, same time.
All right. So thank you.
Special thanks to you.
All right. So on behalf of the President and the executive, no, that's thanks. Thank you, ma. So on behalf of the president and the ESCO of ASSP Nigeria chapter, I would like to say thank you for everyone that have attended this session. I'm sure this material will also be available on the ASSP website for download for as many of us that want to have a copy of this. So thank you, and we'll be seeing you again next week, Saturday at 10 a.m. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe and healthy. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, everyone.